I see. On the phone is the governor of the state of Mississippi, Tate Reeves. Good morning, Governor. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Paul. I'm doing great today. I hope you are.
I'm doing good. The barrage of insanity continues. But how are you handling this?
Well, look, when it became clear that the Democrat National Committee and their outside groups were going to spend over $10 million trying to buy a governor's race in Mississippi, I knew that they were going to tell lie after lie after lie. This is what they do on the national level, and this is what they do in other states. The difference is Brandon Presley is the first Democrat in Mississippi history that was willing to accept those millions of dollars and say whatever the Democrat National Committee operatives told him to say. So he's a different kind of candidate, and they're running a different kind of campaign in Mississippi, and it's one based on one lie after another.
I had a conversation a couple of days ago with someone. I said, "Why do this? Why stretch this with some of the lies told?" And I was told by a guy who's been in politics for a long time. He said, "Paul, you got to realize that Brandon Presley is the last hope of the Democrat Party in the state of Mississippi. After Jim Hood failed, there's nobody else as credible enough to win votes across the state." So they're pouring it all in, and believe me, they want something for it, and they will get it.
Well, Paul, 80% of the money raised by my opponent has come from either California, New York, Massachusetts, or Washington, D.C. And you and I both know, because we've been around a long time, we all know that 80% of that money, which is in the millions and millions and millions of dollars, it ain't charity. They're not just giving it to him because they like him. They've never met him. They're giving it to him because they think it helps Joe Biden in the 2024 elections. If they can point to Mississippi and say, hey, they got this real conservative governor down there in Mississippi. He was responsible for working with his legislature to do a lot of conservative things, and those conservative policies are really working in Mississippi. Mississippi has momentum, but we were able to spend millions of dollars and beat him. That's what they want to be able to say because it helps Joe Biden. This has nothing to do with my opponent, and it has nothing to do with Mississippi. And the only thing that stands in their way are the good people of Mississippi going to the polls on November the 7th. I'm confident that we will, but that's what stands in their way.
Do you think maybe the outcomes of a Republican governor in Louisiana now, and they take that office, do you think that juiced up that pot to $10 million and maybe more by the time we get to the election?
Well, I do think that that election in Louisiana, and my good friend Jeff Landry, the newly elected governor down in Louisiana, certainly sent a message to them. It sent a message that the people across America understand how bad Joe Biden's policies are for the American people, and particularly hard-working people in states like Louisiana and Mississippi. When you go to the gas tank this morning and you fill up, all you have to do is think, this is Joe Biden's fault that gas prices are up. When you go to the grocery store this morning, all you have to do is think, this is Joe Biden's fault because it's his policies that have made American energy more expensive, and therefore they've made every good in America more expensive. It's all because of the policies supported by Joe Biden and his administration in Washington, D.C., which, by the way, would be exactly the same policies that Brandon Presley would bring to the state of Mississippi. This is what they believe in. It's also the reason they're telling so many crazy lies that no one believes in our state, because they can't talk about the policies that they believe in. And so that's where we find ourselves. It's certainly frustrating for me. I know it's frustrating for the voters of Mississippi to have to listen to this nonsense. But we're going to send a message next Tuesday that they can maybe pass and get far left candidates elected in other states, but not in Mississippi.
One of the things, and I said this earlier this morning, I'm preaching to the choir because this audience across the state understands politics a heck of a lot more than people who just don't pay any attention to till election day if they vote. But when you are a candidate for a party It is not taken lightly. You sign on with that party. You do it. You profess, embrace, and understand that they want something for that. If you don't, you're not going to last in that office if you do win very long. Especially in the Democrat Party, they'll kick you out. It's more like and I hate to say this, a biker gang or a fraternity hazing. When you get in there, you're blood brothers. You are in there because you believe that. You cannot say that I'm more conservative than the conservative, so believe me and vote for me. It's just a bald-faced lie.
I'm going to sum it up pretty easy for you, Paul. This was said to me out on the campaign trail 2 weeks ago. I had a gentleman come up to me, and he said, Tate, do you know what you ought to be saying at every conversation you have and every political speaking you give? I said, no, sir, what is that? And he said, you ought to just simply say this. If a man tells you that he is a Democrat, the best thing you can do is believe him.
I like that. That's concise and condensed wisdom is what what those words are. Did you get with $10 million you can do quite a few mail-outs? Center for Voter Information. Were you one of the people who got this from Little Rock, Arkansas?
I did not get the mail out, but I have seen it over the last few days, and it is comical. And it just shows you what these people are trying to do from out of state. They're trying to confuse people. They're not telling the truth about anything, quite honestly. Every single thing that they say is to try to confuse voters and not let them know the facts, because they know the facts are on our side.
There are some people on the C-Spire text line who, if they even thought about voting for Brandon Presley, I think they've changed their minds because let's see, here's what's it. Look at the second one, especially from Presley. Outraged. This one almost made me laugh, et cetera, et cetera. The second one was supporting Mississippi values. Do the candidates support? Now, it comes from someone who presents themselves as nonpartisan, Center for Voter Information out of Little Rock, Arkansas. So you open it up, and there are just three questions here. Supporting Mississippi values. Do the candidates support displaying the words "In God We Trust" on Mississippi license plates? Brandon Presley, yes. Tate Reeves, no. Well, let's do the Brandon Presley. Who is the source of this for Brandon Presley when you put your sources down there? You know who the source is? Brandon Presley. Tate Reeves does not. Mississippi Free Press is the other source on the other side. Free Press, if people don't know this, if you're trying to get the flavor of the Free Press, put together the Sierra Club, the NAACP, the Russia Today, and Al Jazeera, and you get the flavor of who the Free Press is. But your comments on that?
Well, Paul, the people of Mississippi know that when I was lieutenant governor, we passed a law through the Senate that put "In God We Trust" on our state seal. We passed a law to do that. They are quoting my opponent's opinion on something when we actually have facts to prove who is responsible for actually getting "In God We Trust" on our state seal. That was the Mississippi legislature under Speaker Philip Gunn and myself that got that to the governor for his signature back a number of years ago. Nobody is going to believe that a candidate that has supported Hillary Clinton in 2016 and Joe Biden in 2020, that candidate, that Democrat candidate, actually believes what the average Mississippian believes on anything, much less on who is responsible for putting "In God We Trust" on our state seal.
This is the party he stands by that leads and fights diligently for abortion, almost unchecked. At the time of birth, and even from Virginia after birth, believe it or not, as horrendous as it might seem, for gender modification, gender mutilation, for a multitude of other things. And the same party that in a previous Democrat convention denied Christ be put on or any Christianity or religion be put into their platform. They denied that 3 times, and the cock crowed each time. We have more with the governor. Back with the Governor Tate Reeves. Are you prepared and ready for the debate?
We are prepared and ready for the debate. In fact, I'm excited about the debate because it's going to be a great opportunity to get on stage And first of all, make sure the people of Mississippi know that every lie that Brandon Presley has told over the last 10 to 12 months is brought to light. You know, my grandmother used to tell me and others that there are two kinds of people in the world, and one of those kind of people would rather climb up a tree and tell a lie than stand on the ground and tell the truth. And unfortunately, my opponent is one of those kind of people. And so he's been basically taking the Democrat National Committee talking points and spreading them all throughout the state of Mississippi. And so tomorrow's going to be a great opportunity to refute that, and I look forward to it.
Yeah. I hope people are asking about how he's going to do some of these things immediately with the stroke of a pen, increase Medicaid, which is going to cost the state coffers. Who knows? I've heard anywhere from $150 million to $300 million. So I don't think anybody knows if we did that without the plan that you put forward. He's going to immediately cut car tags. I'm not sure if he's talked to the municipal association about that, and all of these other things. The same kind of promises we heard from the shortened tenure of Cliff Finch.
Well, I will tell you that he needs to be honest with the people of Mississippi. He's just not being straight with the people of our state, and that's infuriating. But he's not being honest with the people because he knows that the policies that he believes in, the far left policies of the radical National Democrat policy of the National Democrat Committee, are not going to be well received in Mississippi. So he poll tested a few points. He knows, for instance, that whether it's if it's car tag prices, you don't go to the state house to pay your car tag. You go down to your local county courthouse to pay your car tag, and so, but he's hiding that fact from the people of Mississippi that property taxes are actually collected at the local level, either at the city or the county level, and so there's a built-in tax increase for every single Mississippian on their property taxes if some of these policies are getting enacted and implemented.
One of the things that just riles me up a little bit too is there are so many good things that we ought to be centering on, and I know it's the nature of a campaign. You're not going to have a component come in and talk about the progress of the other candidate. I understand that, but it's just if you the lies are not warranted one way or the other. But there's so many good things out there. You had I think we had a story in here now. Was it PACCAR with an expansion with some more jobs?
Look, Paul, PACCAR announced yesterday a $200 million expansion at their facility in the Golden Triangle. They're going to create another 100 jobs. This is a Fortune 200 company headquartered in the far west, and they've been here for almost 15 years, and they announced yesterday that they enjoy and like Mississippi so much that they're investing $200 million in hiring 100 more people. That's coming off the heels of last week, where in Noxubee County, we announced a $420 million investment in a forest products industry that is going to create 160 new jobs. The fact is, there are so many positive things that we should be talking about in this campaign. The fact is that we've got the lowest unemployment rate in state history. We got more people working than at any time in state history, and companies all over the country and all over the globe are looking at Mississippi to invest in and hire our people. And these are the kind of jobs that are paying $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year, which is far better than our average salaries, even though our per capita incomes are up almost 30% in the last 5 years. The bottom line, Paul, is that conservative policies work. Far left, liberal, woke policies do not work, and that's the reason the 80% of my opponent's money is coming from out of state, because they are scared of the progress that we're making in Mississippi, and they want us to be the butt of their jokes. They don't want us to be number one and number two in fourth grade reading and fourth grade math results in the entire country.
And I got to tell you, when they diss Mississippi on a national basis, they don't realize they're hurting the poor people as well as everybody else, black, white, brown, or fuchsia. Governor, it's always a pleasure, sir. Hopefully people will get out and vote, because we know that their folks are, so we're 1 week away. I thank you and good luck during the debate, sir.
Thank you, Paul. November the 7th. Go vote.